Good morning, everybody, and thanks for Cavell for having another great event here. Looking forward to you today. I will say, Matt, I do like how you kicked off the Cavell Summit Europe with give the American the microphone, just to see if we can go have some more geopolitical insecurities here we can go introduce. But in all seriousness, over the last couple of years, you've heard myself, you've heard several people from Zoom, Jamie, Chris, Michael talk about how Zoom's pivoting to the channel. You've heard us talk about it a lot. Today you're actually going to see what that actually looks like. So we've got 3 great service providers that Zoom is working with today, kind of all in different phases of the service provider onboarding process. So Claudia, I'm going to start off with you. Zoom and DT have had a partnership for a few years here. Can you do a quick introduction on yourself and kind of the unique value prop that Zoom and DT have in the German market?
Yeah, for me, Claudia Buhne. I am the VP for the Business Communication and Collaboration Product Management. And we have partnered, I think, 2021, 2022. And we launched a joint developed product, and that was the product ZoomX. And this is a product where we have a special cluster in the AWS, and that was really important for us, that we have a USP, that we have a sovereign product. We started pretty early with the sovereignty discussion, that we could target to the public market and to demands from customers for security and sovereignty. And for this, the ZoomX portfolio is positioned in our portfolio, especially for those customers I mentioned, so that we have different partners for communication and collaboration, but the ZoomX is very important for specific customers and specific demands, sovereignty and security. And we have a lot of fun working together because we have a good product.
Excellent, thank you. And I think we should talk about how many times, or keep a count today on how many times we hear sovereignty throughout the day. I think I heard it 4 times already. I bet you we hear it in the hundreds by the end of the day. But John, you and I have talked about sovereignty a few times as well. We recently signed a partnership with Bell Canada and a joint product release as well. I think that was signed in early summer. Give a little bit of an overview on what we've developed together and kind of where that lies within your UC product portfolio.
Okay, yes, John Rocca, and I'm with Bell Canada. Excited to be here to learn from the European community. Actually, it's going to be awesome. So I lead the what we call the modern work collaboration and contact center practice at Bell, and we were 3 or 4 years ago thinking, what are we going to do here? We have a BroadWorks-based service provider hosted model to fit every customer need, and we took a step back, and to be customer first, really root on the customer. We went out and said we're a multi-vendor portfolio, but I guess in particular situations we had to find something to modernize employee experiences and customer experiences. That slide that Matt put up about UCaaS and CCaaS is exactly what we're concerned about, and is also the opportunity. Long story short, we did sign an agreement with Zoom last year. We launched the first co-branded offering called Workplace from Bell and Zoom last year. And a key part of that is about making it simple for sales and simple for customers. So automation is so important for us to drive funnel, especially not only in large enterprise, but in the mid-market. Early days, some good early successes. And again, being a multi-solution provider is very important for us to be more grounded in customer needs, and that's why we added Zoom to our portfolio.
You said automation. It's something that we constantly talk about, better ways to go and automate. I think that's one of the things you've seen Zoom evolve as well, is be able to go be more channel friendly with our integrations and things you can go to do to make that automation easier. Duncan, I think the ink is hardly dry on our partnership here, but I'd like to hear, why you guys decided to go productize Zoom and what that looks like for you.
Yeah, definitely. No, thank you very much. So I'm going to be a little bit coy here because we haven't actually launched yet. So this is almost a bit of a kind of an early heads up. But yeah, as Jason said, we're kind of really excited about the partnership that we're building with Zoom. We think that for us at O2 Daisy, really a key driver is not about trying to drive technology into customers. You know, Matt spoke about it before. It's about trying to have the right partnerships and the right product portfolio to be able to deliver the kind of business outcomes that your customer needs. And the fact that those outcomes are evolving so rapidly, and in many cases, customers don't even necessarily know what it is, how they're going to be able to deliver against those outcomes from a technology perspective. We felt that partnering up with somebody like Zoom with a really, really heavy focus, heavy investment on R&D, on automation, on partnership, on scalability of the platform, evolving the AI capabilities, we think that that gives us a really, really good opportunity to speak to our customers kind of up and down the segment stack, because I think Matt's point about SMB customers wanting enterprise-grade solutions, I think is a really, really important area, and we feel that particular area is an area that Zoom will play really strongly with, and we're super excited about our partnership.
Excellent. Thank you. I know there's a panel on this later. We've already mentioned it. I'm going to mention it again. Data sovereignty. Data sovereignty means, I think, what do we have, 460 people here? I think we said we're going to be here. We're probably going to ask everybody what data sovereignty is. We'd probably get 700 different answers. John, I think we talked about it 3 times last week. What kind of questions are you guys getting from your customers today? And do they actually understand what they want, or are we just hearing this as a buzzword right now?
Yeah, it's real. One of the reasons why I'm here is to learn from the European community that's been thinking about this more. In Canada, this is a very, very important priority. I would say, actually, Bell commissioned a study to the enterprise leaders in Canada. 9 out of 10, it's a public study, 9 out of 10 said they're going to prioritize sovereignty very high as their AI usage grows. Now, what is sovereignty? In Canada, like the federal government has given guidelines, has given overviews and frameworks. They haven't been super strict on the requirements, but it is definitely about data center, definitely about infrastructure, definitely about data and who operates and controls that data inside the country. That's at a high level, and how Bell's complying to that is we've launched it's called Bell AI Fabric program, and it's basically AI purpose data centers that we're building to enable this model going forward to comply.
When you're having those customer conversations, are you guys training your salespeople to be able to go have those conversations? I mean, it's very difficult for everybody to try to kind of. I feel like we get confused by it, and we just kind of say we need everything in country, and that's kind of where we've gone to a knee-jerk reaction. Are you guys seeing that as well? Are you guys training your salespeople to have those conversations?
Well, in Bell, we have a multi-practice model. We've got everything from network to collaboration and contact center, our security practice. And basically our we call Bell AI Fabric practice. So we are training them about talking about AI in general. Within UCaaS and CCaaS, data residency comes up a lot. Now, data residency is a different and easier issue to deal with. I would say all the customers are still a bit confused in terms of what exactly, but they're asking the questions. There's more work we need to do in how to educate them on this.
Excellent. And I guess one follow-up question. We do have a gentleman in the White House currently that causes news on an everyday basis. If you become the 51st state, is that going to make it easier for you? Or?
No comment.
Duncan, you guys have your own kind of unique scenario in the UK, right? So Zoom's announced a UK data center here as well. Did that have any effect on your positioning and kind of becoming a Zoom partner to make it easier?
Massively. It was critical. It was a real kind of red line to have to get through, because I guess much like in Germany, data sovereignty in the UK, it's not a new thing. It's been a critical requirement for our public sector for many, many years now. The difference we're seeing is that's now spreading across the rest of enterprise. And it's popping up in segments you wouldn't necessarily historically have thought would have cared all that much. Now they do. And what we're seeing is it's not about, I think as John mentioned, kind of just data residency, just making sure you've got a data center it's your whole end-to-end operation. So we've had instances where we've had to kind of almost rewire our operations because there may be a chance that someone in a third-line tech support might need to access a certain subset of customer data to resolve a fault. That then breaks data sovereignty. So you have to start with the core platform and then look at your end-to-end operations all the way around. So for us, having that capability with Zoom, it is really, really key.
Excellent. And Claudia, you touched on this. Our partnership was really built on this, right? It was really built on data sovereignty. Have you seen more conversations move your way over all the geopolitical kind of noise that we've had over the last year? Are you seeing more interest in that platform?
Yeah, like Duncan says, it is much more important, the sovereignty for sure. Next to public, it is all other industries asking for sovereignty or security. And so the questions are coming, where's my data hosted? What about US Cloud Act? What about GDPR? What about encryption? And what about security? And this is that there's a question, Duncan, you said it is the end-of-end view that the customers want to have a clear patches and security all over the production line and all over the product, and then it is not only the collaboration and communication solution or UCAS and CCAS, it is the whole solution that the customer has, and this is for us as a service provider some value that we can bring into that partnership and bring into the product and the offer of UCAS and CCAS, that it is much more than just the software on it or the servers on it. It is the network security and the end-to-end view.
Excellent. And start off with you on this one, Duncan. Obviously, this is near and dear to your heart. You're just looking to launch a product right now. What makes your portfolio product successful, and how did you guys decide to go and say, like, hey, this is something that I want to go add to that portfolio, and what other complementary portfolio items have you seen success with?
Yeah, I think driving success in an organisation like ours, really, it's the first place you have to start. Even obviously you start with your customer and your product market fit, but the first place really in terms of execution has got to be your own people. So one thing that CSPs have got is a lot of people, a lot of sales folks, a lot of customer contacts, a lot of relationships out there. And the difference between success and failure really, in my opinion, is how well can you execute and drive through your own sales community. So how can you ensure that your sales and support community really understand the value proposition, they understand what's in it for them and what's in it for their customers, they understand how it can help them grow that value and grow those relationships over time. Where we've seen areas of the portfolio fail historically, being kind of frank among friends, has been where you lose sight of that, and you lose sight of that journey, that connective kind of tissue between your sales community and the customer, and you kind of talk about the technology, or you talk about the product, or you talk about the features, or you don't maintain focus on that for a period of time. You do a burst of activity, then you walk away and start looking at the next shiny thing. So it's about making sure you really keep that kind of rationale clear in your own team's mind, and then they can then effectively drive that forward into your customer base.
As a follow-up to that, I don't see Matt here, but Matt, there he is. We were on stage a couple weeks ago, and he made fun of me because I spent a long time at British Telecom, and he used to say you have to bring 20 at BT. Do you see that type of kind of issue today when some of these portfolio products have gotten so big, they've gotten so complex? AI is a buzzword around everything. Making sure that your salespeople, especially when you have multiple things, the enablement you have to have is pretty deep.
It is, because we're not just living in a world anymore where the customer will say, oh, I want a few more licenses for my UCAS, or I want a few more phone lines. There you go, right, job done, bosh, away you go. It's much more complicated. Even what Matt was just saying, the ecosystem through which customers can engage with different solutions is so much more complicated. And as the technology is getting smarter, I feel like a lot of people, myself included, are starting to feel a bit more stupid. So being able to break this all down for your own teams so that they can then advocate into customers and help understand those business outcomes and how the technology can wrap itself around that, rather than a customer just feeling that they have to wrap themselves around whatever technology they can get their hands on because they're worried about what's going to happen if they don't.
Excellent. And Claudia, I know you guys are constantly kind of evaluating your portfolio to make sure that you guys have the right options for your market. I guess how do you guys define what works and what doesn't work?
I think it works that we can offer much more than just the products. It is also that we do some consulting for the customers, that we understand what is the customer demand, what is the customer's infrastructure, what can we combine with demand and infrastructure. Can we bring some managed service for our customers, and can we be some trusted advisor or something like that in the role, that we can consult him and bring him into the way of profitability, and that we will help the customers how to use AI, how to get some profitability, and how to optimize the processes and workspaces, so that our value is much more than just bringing the products. It is service, consultancy, and understanding, and also enablement for the customer's organization. It is not only that we have to enable our sellers and our accountants and our organization with products and AI and all the new features and possibilities, that we also enable customers and support the customer needs.
Excellent. I'm going to pivot here slightly and kind of parlay a question off that for you, John. You guys have a couple other kind of tier one carriers in Canada that you guys compete with. How are you guys able to differentiate in the UCaaS area? And like, what are you guys doing to go do value-added services around it? I've been on this stage and kind of said that, the telcos need to do more than build PSTN connectivity into whether it's Zoom or Microsoft or Cisco. The build it and they will come has proven not to work, right? So what have you guys done? I've seen the pipeline, I've seen some closed deals, so something's working.
Well, I think we had to we started with the customer first, so we really scratched our heads, especially after COVID, what happened to the market. We had to change the conversation from going, and it's a very hard conversation with the telco channel, from selling voice to selling outcomes on how to modernize employee experiences. That was number one. Number two is we had to you change the conversation, we couldn't be a one-trick pony. And we also need to be more confident in terms of, I have to use a hockey analogy from Canada, where the puck is going in terms of helping customers modernize their employee experience. So those two things have helped. Now, I would say the partner we're picking is extremely important in terms of differentiation. In this case with Zoom, like, it's a joint co-brand. So, and I think that is helping differentiate, because the Bell brand is trusted in Canada, but the Zoom brand is important not from its technology, is really about if the partner's partner first or not, and that's what we're still testing Zoom out on how partner first they are. They're proving that they are. So I think that's going to help differentiate us how our channels work together.
We say it enough, it'll happen, right?
Yeah.
So.
And of course, like the network and the trust is important. It's not that voice isn't important; it's very important. But we gotta move the conversation and then come back to voice. Voice is still important as part of the future. And I'd say from a differentiation standpoint, probably the biggest thing is simple to use, simple to admin, and AI powered through the experience. That is definitely compelling. It's very clear. We've met with how many customers, and maybe I should hold this till later. It's when you go through the demos on some of the stuff, it really brings it to life, and that was differentiation.
Excellent. And Claudia, what do the enterprise customers actually want from their service provider today? We heard a lot of stuff that Matt talked about. What are you actually seeing? What do they want everything? They want AI? They want a roadmap strategy from you? What are they looking for?
they're not looking for one thing. They are looking for, I think, a solution. And when you say enterprises, it is really the bigger ones. The small ones need the automation, and they need it easy to use, easy to sell. But looking into really the enterprises, it is more that they need, on the one hand side, also the products, but they need the solution end to end. Like I said before, they need security, they need the managed service, and they also need the network underlay that they can have a one solution from one vendor, or from coming at everything from one hand. So they have one partner they can contact when there are any problems, when there are any new challenges, and they want to have a trusted one they can talk to, and they know that it is secure, sovereign, but it is also innovative. And so with the Zoom solution, we know that we bring new features, we are in the front, we are front runners, and bring the customers the demands, and we help them into the AI world, and bring them the AI that's compliant and that fulfills all the requirements and the laws that are around in Germany.
Excellent. And Duncan, looking ahead, I guess, how does that operator role evolve, especially around AI? Now, what are you guys looking forward to in the next couple of years to make sure that you guys have the relevant product portfolio?
Yeah, I think it's gonna evolve more rapidly going forward than it has in the past, as fast as it's been evolving. And Matt alluded to that. I think the days of kind of signing a partnership, disappearing off, doing a load of heavy network integration, and then popping up 18 months later with a wonderfully polished network integrated product going, ta-da, they're gone, right? Because by the time you've done that, the market's moved on, and customers have moved on. I think for us, really, the opportunity is just building on what Claudia said, which I think summed up the role today really, really nicely, is to provide to our customers that kind of partnership and that assistance and that help to decipher and deconstruct how the technology ecosystem is evolving, and most importantly, how you can then map that back to how it can help customers. So we're not just selling the partnerships and the technologies and what have you, we're actually selling, we're kind of almost reversing it and kind of going, so where does it hurt? Where do you need help with? And that, I think, is a massive opportunity for us, because we have those existing relationships, we have those channels, we have that credibility with customers. It's also a challenge because it's a different model. You're not just talking to customers about how many SIMs do you want this month, how many iPhones do you want, how many licenses do you want. You're talking to the HR director about how do you transform and keep your people connected in a distributed workforce. That's a different conversation. It's a much more valuable one, but that I think is, if we can unlock that, that's where there's a lot of value.
Well, excellent. Well, I appreciate everybody's time today. I'm going to keep you guys on time here with a couple minutes left, but thank you guys all for joining us today, and I appreciate your partnership.
Thank you.